Yes, and we are back with another episode of Dance Gems, as always, with my good friend Tom Greten. I think he's already waiting, but let me introduce the topic of today first, which is personality in movement, understanding personality, or maybe your personality in the world of dance. Tom, are you there?
I am there, Sean. Nice
Good,
to hear you. And let's
good.
go, I would say.
Yeah, what do you think of
Personality.
our topic of today, personality in movement, understanding
Yes.
personality in the world of dance. Now, I know that personality is a whole chapter in your book, Dance Gems. Well, actually, the book is not called Dance Gems. The book is called The Gem, you know. And but there is a correlation between our podcast and your book. So I thought maybe it would be nice just to talk in general about personality and in dance. So, yeah, that's that was my idea. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah. Personality. Personality, what would that say? Would that say there is some unique identity to see from outside and from the inside? The inside you cannot see, but how somebody talk, like me, and how somebody look, like me and you. uh, this is I don't know how you say the word in kenmerk. That's my English. Sorry, listeners. What's that, Sean? You know that in English?
I don't know what you want to say.
Kenmerk. That's somebody's look. How somebody look.
Oh, feature.
Ah, the feature. Yes, that's the word where I was looking for. Yeah, and you can see on the people when they have a particular feature, it's it's them. It's
Yeah,
unique. Yeah, but the most they try not to have that feature. They do the feature what everybody have already.
yeah,
So yeah, and then you follow somebody.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Personality. What is personality? Yeah, that's of course to start with, and then personality in dance. Some people say, "Hey, you have a nice personality." I still don't know actually what they mean then. Huh? What do they mean? Do they mean personality that the way they position they bring themselves? So I have a people would probably say that you and I have a very lively personality because you and I typically move a lot and we have very strong opinions. You a little bit more
Mhm.
than me, but so yeah, that's our personality. Maybe people say that we have a Dutch personality, so we are very direct. So what is personality actually?
Yeah, it's a self concept from who you are, what you try to show,
Yeah,
the physicality abilities from you, but also not only physically but also mentally. Um, that's the self concept both together, and this makes it unique because then it's like a DNA print. You have the DNA, there's just one of a kind, and that makes the personality. But before you are there, because most people are in a doubt, and when a doubt, they are not sure about the choices what they have, and you and me, we know that we create abilities, and when you have an ability you can choose, but if you cannot choose you can just follow, and when you just follow, yeah, then ask yourself who you are, which self concept you have.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you said DNA, but that sounds like personality cannot be changed. I do think there is something like people were born with certain character traits, you know. There's a lot of argument also in the psychological in the world of psychology. Is is everything predefined? Is your whole character predefined? You know, you and I both have kids, so I do see that Some of these character traits of my kids, they never change. Their personality develops, but some of the character traits, you know, and some of them you recognize as, hey, this is more from the mom and this is more from the dad, and some it's completely like, wow, I don't even recognize this from anyone in our family. So that's one thing. Um, and our other thing is, of course, personality should hugely involve what you do yourself, your environment, your culture, the things that you experience in life. Uh,
Yes. I think when you are young, Sean,
mhm.
when I was young, I had a different personality than I have now.
Yeah,
In in my earlier days, I was a very hard person. I'm still a hard person, but I was very tough also in the training. But when I see now, through my abilities, what I have learned through my book, through the discovering of development by myself, I get to another level. So my personality is changed. And some people, because I have moms here and dads who I trained before, and now I train the children, and mom and dad say, why the old Tom cannot come back and hit them and go? I never hit them, but come on and push them. No, I'm totally different now. So my personality changed during the years through the possibilities of learning and adapt my working method. So, and this is also growing. And as personality, and you can do in a shorter time, you can do much more work because you have so much experience now, what I didn't had. Also, I worked already many times and many years for the physical part, but now I work also on the physical part, but now I see physical and your brain gymnastic, I would say. It's important to bring them both to a higher level,
yeah,
and this makes you a stronger personality if you have the right tools from the beginning there, from our experience, from my experience. And I feel now, because I can explain the children now with more context than 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 5 years ago. Now I can give them context and they understand,
yeah.
now I
That's
know why I practice this. And to say you have to practice this without context, then you miss some puzzle piece, when it would be a puzzle, in that whole puzzle in your brain. But if you have the context, then you can make for yourself more a puzzle from
yeah.
it, a picture.
Yeah, yeah. So, but of course, I know of you for a long time, Ton. Although we didn't know each other, I know of you from a very long time. But Ton Greten, and I followed in your old dance studio. I followed quite a bit of your workshops that you organized there, and then just many years later, Ton and I became friends, right? And we start to work together, and then we started like, oh my gosh, we definitely don't always agree, but then we always find a way. That's our personality too, do a little bit this, and then we come to an agreement. But I must say, Tom, that yeah, you have changed a lot, but at the same time, you're still Ton Greten. It is not like that is a completely different person than I met years ago. There was, let me call out a couple of things, and that's personality too, right? There is some sort of an almost, for some people, almost, yeah, you have such a drive to find out, to have questions. You have also a drive to not always very quickly accept what other people say. You have a drive to be different than other people. Not per se to be different, but just not to be what we say conformistic. You have also a certain way of explaining things that are hasn't they haven't changed. You have been better at it, but in a way they haven't changed at the same time. I'm sure that's true for me too. Um, there are things that can happen in our life, for instance, very traumatic experiences that change the personality completely. But our we have changed, we have grown as a person, but we still have some of our Ton Greten is still you. Uh,
Yes, still, it's my character. I'm
yeah,
born with it.
well,
I
yeah,
get it probably, no, I'm sure, from my parents. And
oh yeah,
that's mostly stuck. You can change that one, but your personality change through the knowledge what I get.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
when I order that knowledge, I come to a certain point where I could or can explain it to another one through that experience. And you can also, um, I can see my own growth now because all the new words what I learned through the years make me a richer person in my mind, but also in my body. Because when I learn one word, like
yeah,
proprioception, we had it many times in our podcast, proprio, self, and ception, the awareness of yourself, of your body, from your whole being, and your becoming. What I learned from you, Sean, what you want to become. And this is important to gain this knowledge,
mm-hmm.
to work on that knowledge with your body, but also with your mind, and try not to work at the surface. So I have it. No, do something really with it. Then your personality will change. And not only the outside, but also the inside. Because when we dance on the floor, we do also exercise. And when you do the exercise and you have a proprioception there, and the self awareness of all body parts, and you do just the exercise and you do them just, you train only that body, but
Yeah,
not that mind. And if you want to have personality on the floor, every exercise is important to connect all the body parts in space and time, how clean or how straight or how bent you want to do them, and how long you want to do them, because this ability from your body gives you freedom to choose with your mind how you want to explore and use that in the space and time, and how more you are with yourself busy, how more your personality will grow. So try to learn, to learn, to learn, and to discover and to grow. And it's so holistic, Sean. It's not just the body, it's also the food. So when I would go every day to a fast food, and I would eat fast food, and I didn't do my exercise and I didn't move, my personality would change through my body, because my body get a different type. I get a different thinking, a different, yes. So it's body and mind, and through that you will grow as a person and as a personality. And there are more elements in it. Could you, which element, that's a question to you, Sean, you would put into the personality?
I mean, there are several ways to look at this, right? You have first what the everyone normally, if I ask, what do you consider as personality? You can find, if you do an interview on the street, you probably can find a couple of things that everyone would know, right? Some people say, they have a personality that is based on the trait that they have, right? So how they behave, what how they typically react to some things. Are they very open-minded? Are some people very closed off? Are they empathic? Are they agreeable? How do they control the emotions? That is typically what people say, oh, that's their personality. They have a friendly personality. He is very, he likes to help people. He's always on his own. So extrovert, introvert comes very quickly in here. He's a very enjoyable personality. I made a whole list of what people would say that a personality could be. Now there is, of course, is there is something in psychology that we call the big five personality, right? It's also called as the five-factor model, and that's when we measure personality on more things like, how open are you to experience new things, right? And you probably score pretty high on that. You are very open to experience new things. Then how conscientious is someone? Does someone has a discipline in there? Is he very busy with doing things on purpose? Very, purposeful, driven person. That's what you do too. You plan your things like we do the conference that we are planning, very conscientious, right? Very disciplined. We both have that. You can see it in what we do. Um, then you have the third thing. Do I have three? Yeah, extroversion is how sociable are you? Are you okay to? Are you assertive? But in a way also that you don't. How comfortable are you in social situations? If I have to look at Ton, yeah, I think he is okay with it, but he's also a little bit off on his own. So there is, Ton is a very special individual. I think I am a little bit easier to blend in with people. To go with the flow. So you could meet that. Agreeableness is another. That's a fourth factor that we do. Are you typically a person that argue very quickly? Do we do that? I think we both have that a little bit on the maybe negative side, where we just don't quickly accept someone else's opinion, or we ask critical questions. We are okay if we don't agree with each other. So that's we are very strong in that. And then last but not least, that sounds really weird, but in psychology we call it neuroticism. Is if you are how well can you control your emotions, and how comfortable are you to express the emotions in a healthy way, right? So those are the five things that you could. I mean, that's a way to look at personalities. I don't think that people have a lot of these things in their mind, right? That I said, the loose words. Um, yeah, and that's a little bit maybe my point of
Yeah.
view of how do I look things specifically in their openness. Are they willing to experience new things? People say they have an open mind, and very often you and I come across that actually is not so true. They very
Yeah.
closed off.
Correct.
Yeah,
Sean,
and
could you give a small recap of the five words?
yeah,
It's five?
so number one is openness. Let's say an open mind. Let me try to do it in normal words. Like, is someone open mind? Do you wanna? Are you okay to go out of your comfort zone? Do you try new thing? The second thing is how is your discipline? Do you have focus? That's a good trait. Like my dad, highly disciplined military focus, right? Very close minded. He has a huge discipline, right? That's why he became a red beret commando and an incredible athlete. But open to new ideas? No, conservative. Yeah. And then how sociable are you? That's a trait. Um, then the other one is how cooperative, how easy are you to work in teams, things like that. If we work in teams, and then last but not least, how do you express emotions? Can you express them well? Do you have a healthy emotional life? So those are the five things that we do. Uh,
Okay, Sean. So this helps, of course,
and how
but
to
also
this you can put this straight into dance, right? So,
yes,
for instance, if I talk about conscientiousness, you can see how someone practice, how much discipline and focus they have on a certain thing. You know.
yes. To develop your personality and So it will change during the years and you not feel it by yourself because it goes so slow.
Hmm. Yeah,
Experience, that's an important one then. I think through the years, your experience,
the
what you
number
get from
one.
your
Yeah,
environment,
yeah,
number
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, there is already where you see that some people, some of our students will say, "Oh no, Tom, that's just the way how I am," and that actually closes everything off. If you already say that's the way how I am, which means you cannot change me, right? Then people say that in Dutch is, ja, zo ben ik nu eenmaal. Uh,
yeah.
that's the way how I am. A lot of people say that. Oh yeah, no, 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 it's just the way I am. Wow, that's number one. You can already say, okay, let's see. We need to
Okay,
challenge you. Yeah.
that's like people say, ah, I know that.
Yeah, same thing. That's
Okay,
all the same category. Oh, I know it already.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Or
you
that
say
no,
you,
no, that is not for me. They already decided
yes.
it's not for. That's, do you see? That's all in the same category. It's all under
And
number one, openness to experience.
how you will grow then?
No, you can't.
So
You can't. You can't. You know,
it
you put
feels
a
safe then.
you put a lit. Well, that is very often. I think we don't know, right? But we talk. That's very often the reason why people have that. They are afraid of change, and they actually don't translate it as fear of change. But a lot of people have fear of change. When you have fear of change, your openness to experience immediately stops.
Yes. I'm sure, Sean, the internet, uh, WW, the World Wide Web,
Hmm.
changed my personality. Absolutely. The World
Yeah.
Wide Web didn't change me. What I search on the World Wide Web to understand some words, and the search machine is so big that I can search particular things and then I could change through that one what I did because it's a big, big, big library on that World Wide Web and you find almost everything.
Oh no, yeah, of
And
course, yeah. Yeah,
and
now
with the
now with the
knowledge,
that's literally only a few years old. I mean, old for the general public is AI changed that even to a bigger extent. You know,
yes, I believe
is
that too. And people are afraid for that one.
yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of anything. It's always
No.
about how you use it. You know,
Yes, yes,
it will change the world, and people again are afraid of change. Of course, there's no. Yeah, I mean, I wish you could show people what I developed already on AI to help yours and my work in the development of dance. That's just
yes.
incredible.
So, what would be the purpose of personality then, Sean?
The purpose, well, I mean, it's like with all the things that we discuss specifically in GEM, in your method, the GEM. There is no something like no personality. We say that sometimes about someone, you have no personality, but that doesn't exist. That's nonsense, right? There is no one with no personality. You always have personality, as you always are in space. You cannot also not be without time. It just you always have a personality. Um, so, but I think where you started is are you aware, which is part of your proprioception, is are
Yes,
you aware of your personality and are you willing to bring it to another place? And it's your choice what that other place is.
yeah,
Neither you and I would say we develop your personality to a better place. No, there would be a judgment that you have no good personality right now. But your
yes,
personality develops by developing yourself. You can't
yeah.
stop that process,
No.
even if
And
you do nothing.
the, yes, even when you do nothing, yes, it will grow, but in a different
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yes, try
And
to get
and
it
then
active more.
and then you throw in something that looks like completely unrelated, like what you eat, but it has an incredible impact on your personality, what you eat.
Yeah, what you eat is what you are. What you say is also what you are.
Yeah. So
One
also
time the
what
word
you
is out.
mentally
Yeah.
eat, eh? So it's not only
Yes.
what you physically eat, but what you mentally take to you influence your experience and personality. So if you decide to not eat anything or to not eat anything, then yeah, that develops too. There is a saying in coding when you code software that's called garbage in and garbage out. If you put garbage in your body and your mind, you can guarantee that garbage comes out of you too. And it sounds really harsh, but
Yeah, absolutely, Sean.
it sounds really hard. And I'm normally not like that. That's not me, but it makes it really simple. So that influence your personality. And sometimes I must honestly say, in preparation of our previous of the Dutch version of this, I remember that I looked quite a bit of things up. Sometimes you see someone that is really hard, right, harsh, and harsh person, and don't be judgmental of that person. This person might have gone through tremendous trauma or other experience that made them a little bit more difficult in what we call emotional stability. Uh, so, so definitely what in your method is try to always stay away from judgment because you don't know why that person is like that. It could
Yeah.
be why that person is closed off. Maybe very bad experiences with schools. They try to have an open
Hmm.
mind, and it could even be in a dance studio where they say you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. Now, how can you expect a student to have an open mind if you make them believe there's only one way to do it right or wrong?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Um, it's also the influence of the news, the influence of social media,
for
what
instance.
attach your personality.
Hmm.
Even if you are not conscious about it, still it has influence on it. And
Oh yeah, of
also
course.
on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So if you be aware of that one, you would become more to yourself and ask yourself, is it like that? What I want to produce on that dance floor? And personality is one of the things. When it would be a fishnet, you would never catch the fish because you cannot catch the personality because it's something the science is develop, developing and try to find personality, but you cannot catch it. It's the same with your conscious. Um, there are many theories, but the theory is actually the practical way is you cannot catch it.
Well,
And if you not can,
you can maybe at best. And we talked about it the last time, and I remember you took it over. It's the difference between being and becoming, right? Being is like he is like that, and when you say that, that's a static word. I am like that. That and that comes also from Descartes, who said, "I think, therefore I am," and better is to say, "I think, therefore I become." In my opinion,
who is Descartes, Sean?
Descartes is, that is René Descartes, is that French philosopher from 1860, and so he had a huge influence in the way we think about body and mind, as I let's explained at some point in time, and but anyhow, we started to say personality is something that has strongly influenced by your own words. By the way, it's in your book, by choice, by the choices you make. Uh, but the choices you make has a lot to do how open you are, willing to experience. There's a huge relationship. What choices can you make? So yeah, so I think a lot of people, how do you call that when people say that you are born with a blank sheet? You have no. I'm not sure. We don't know if that's absolutely
Tubula,
true.
tubula rasa,
Yeah,
they call it.
yeah, we could they call it like that. I'm not sure if we're not 100% sure if that's the case, but it's a nice way of to think about it. that you.
Yes, I think anyway, your character, you get born with a certain character,
Yeah,
and it gets feeded by the nature nurture
yeah,
principle, your
yeah.
genes, the chromosome, the DNA, what you get from your parents and the parents before and the grandparents before, etc. And the behavior
Mm-hmm.
from that grandparents gives to their children, your dad and mom, and they give it to you. That's their principle and what they learn from the news, from the social media, on school, etc., 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 and culture-wise also. So it forms your personality
Yeah,
through that.
but
And
it's formed on something. By the way, let me
yes,
correct. By the way, the dates that I had for Descartes. He was born. I said 18, but it's 16. He's from the 1600s, obviously.
wow,
But
Sean,
it's
incredible.
it's just 200 years off. Who cares? But
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
no, yeah. This is a debate that is going on for a long time. Are you born already with certain character traits?
Yes, and our how you say the developing from it from the science, it's going further and further and further. So they discover more and more and more and more, but still the conscious they cannot catch it, and also not the
No, yeah,
personality.
yeah. You can maybe make a snapshot of it, but even through our discussion now, you and I caused a little change in ourselves.
Yes, even one word. When I tell one word to you on the dance floor, it could
Could
change
change.
totally your attitude.
Yeah,
And it could break somebody or build somebody up. So be careful, coaches and trainers, of your words, what you will tell to somebody.
yeah, yeah. Here's
It's
something. Yeah, I mean that is so true, and there is there's a really good reason why that is, Tom. First of all, people believe that they are more different from each other than they actually are. We actually have way more commonalities than we dare to do. So the reason why, for instance, mentalists, those big mentalist show where they can influence a whole audience, right? Because mentalists have it's not they're not psychic, they're not superhuman beings. They just have a lot of understanding of personality, and they know that there are most things are exactly the same for every person. There's no difference. So Ton did a really good things around study around nonverbal communication. If you study nonverbal verbal communication, you see that a lot of these nonverbal communications are exactly the same for everyone. You know,
yes,
we
very
talked in your
interesting.
yeah in your book you talk about genuine smiling and fake smiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Genuine
yes, that's
smiling is
one
with your
of
whole
them.
face. You know, now I'm smiling
Yes,
with my whole face. Let me try to do the other one.
yeah,
It's
without the
okay.
eyes.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard because it does not fit my character, and
yeah,
not it doesn't fit your character either. But you make many pictures like that.
yeah, yeah. That looks so funny in my book.
I know.
But you know why the non-verbal communication is the one who on that floor for the personality, the most important one.
Yeah,
When you
I
are
wanted to go
aware
there.
of it,
Yeah.
yes. Why? Why? Because it's the oldest one. When you look to the general, to the people how we are now, we are
Hmm.
about 300,000 years old, actually millions of years, the human being, but we had an evolution. And our language is about 50,000 years old, and our writing it's 5,000 years old. So the non-verbal communication is the oldest one, actually, and the most experienced one. This is why language is still developing. And through the developing of the language, your personality will grow with that one. Hopefully, if you gain that knowledge, garbage in and garbage out. And when you go on that floor, each word you can transform in a movement if you understand that movement. So if your personality has gained a lot of words, you could actually, when you practice these words with your body, you could have influence on the movement on that floor. And then your personality would look different on a dance floor if you transform that words and you make them by your own. That it's like one connection, word and movement. And yeah, maybe people will say, I think he comes from the Netherlands and takes some smoky here, marijuana. No, I didn't, because I don't take drugs and I don't smoke. Yes, it's really like that. And we are picture thinkers, and we learn a lot from pictures mainly. And more of half of the brain is busy with these pictures to order them and to use them and learn from them. So when you would not look to it with your senses, then you would grow slowly with the personality. If you would use more your senses and also think by yourself, you would grow more on that floor. So learn these words, learn new directions, try to discover and try to transform them into a movement. And this will makes the difference between one who is on the surface and take not so much attention to it. Maybe they have a lot of talent and you can see that talent on the floor, but you can also work hard for it and try to discover through your brain and through your body to discover that.
Yeah.
It's like me, I'm a hard worker. I was not so talented, I think, by myself. But now, through that process, still, when I get next year 60, I'm 59 now, I'm growing. I feel it. When I do my exercises, I grow.
Yeah.
When I go on the dance floor, through that words, what I learned, I grow. And my personality changed. And my students look to me and think, eh,
Yeah. I
how
like
is
that
this
actually.
possible?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that actually aligns very much with the things that you told. Aligns very much with the five traits that I put there. If you and I would look at the floor, we would probably see if a dancer has eye for detail. He is, if he is conscious about detailed movements that he make, which fits on the second thing that I meant, conscientious. We also see if he is very conformistic, want to dance as someone else, or he's more open to new things. We would probably could see that in the movement. You are definitely a dancer like that. You always try to do two things different in clothing and how you express your choreography. Then what's different? So that also open to the experience. We often, I mean, we had a did we? I'm not sure if we already placed it, but we had a podcast around partnering, teamwork, and stuff like that, which talk to that fourth point of agreeable. Are you agreeable? You could see if someone dances more, it's all about me and, my partner just has to be there because we have to be with two people on the floor. Or they truly try to bring something together on the floor. So it's
Hmm.
incredible how that actually, if someone goes wrong on the floor, can you see if someone can, manage their emotions really well. So I think I
Yes,
think
yes.
I think we can
Correction.
all these things that we talked about. We probably could actually capture that in those five things that we discussed.
Yes. I can see on the dance floor they do just a trick, or I see on the dance floor they just create it like that. And there, if you are experienced and you are, say, an expert in that one, you could see that nonverbal communication
Yeah.
if you really look to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
I like
you
that.
you as a
Mm.
yes, you as a dancer realize you are an artist, not only a body artist, also a mental artist, because you create with the mental. I call it 5D. I will explain you and give you some context why I call it 5D, because you have then 4D and 3D, and the 5D forms 3D space and 4D time. So it's a 5D concept, because the space and time will also form you, vice versa. Through the knowledge what we get, the information we will change also. But on the dance floor, all comes to that one moment when you stand there, walk on that floor. I can already see which personality type you are. You are a follower or are you a creator, an artist. And do you have fun about it, or you do just a trick and just a dance? It's more than that.
Yeah,
And
but
this
I
is,
also think
yeah,
there could be a development in there, right? Some people, they developed first. I besides that, I also think there are, and I learned it from one of my teachers as well. It's so we talked about the word creation. Okay, you create your movement every time that you make it, but there's also something nice. Now I move my hand, but I can also experience the movement more. See, I experience my own movement. It's like I observe my hand. I mean, if you can see it now, you can see that this movement is different than when I just did it. Now I'm just doing it, right? But when I'm truly experience the movement, you see a quality difference in the way how I move my. So I can see someone on the
yes,
floor that he is
I
still
can see it.
curious to his own movement. He's still,
It is sorry, John. What I saw is a conscious changing, and the changing is the dynamic. I can see through your muscle tension and your choices that it has variation, and it's nicer than you just do it.
yeah,
It's
it is, yeah,
it feels more mechanically. It looks for me more
yeah,
mechanically,
yeah,
without soul, and the other one have more soul.
yeah. That's so. But for me, words like soul, right, is I like that word, but I was talking with another colleague. I think, yeah, okay, it's also overused because can anyone really explain me what soul is? But
Oh,
if I really want to experience my own movement, if I try to experience what I say, I become the observer of myself while doing it. You see that I become way more conscious of what I do. Does that make sense? If I just
mm,
learn something and I just execute it because it's a repetitive movement, it become memorization. Is exactly what you and I always try not to do. Is it every time it needs to be conscious choices of what you do, even if it's the same movement.
yes,
Then it gets maybe soul.
yes. Now I come to the cabbage in, cabbage out. You mentioned it.
Yeah.
I was thinking just about it, Sean, and my thoughts are the
Mhm.
cabbage
Garbage. Yeah.
in. It's
Garbage.
a
Yeah.
garbage in. Sorry, garbage in and
Yeah.
garbage out. The garbage in is a longer term, and the garbage out is a short term as an artist on that floor. Because through the long term, what you gain on information and practice for the mind and body, the outcome is just like a short moment on that
Yeah.
dance floor, and the personality will come out in a very, very short time, and everything comes together at that point where you have worked a long time on it, a long term on it. And it's a holistic approach. Nobody sees that, what you put in it, but they see the outcome. And the outcome is the short term. It's the art. You make a painting on that floor in the air and it will disappear again. But if you think the day after to it, or in a few hours later, and you think, wow, that was incredible what they what she did. It's so unique. Then it stays with you.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally that. Yeah, so we tried to. I'm not sure if we succeeded, but I think we did. We tried to give you a little bit more, you as the listeners and the viewers today, to give you a little bit more idea what is personality and movement. And I think mm, make a short conclusion. It's not something fixed, right? It is you have influence on your own personality, and what personality you want to bring on the floor is also a choice, right? It's not just by chance; it's more by choice. And but the fact that you accept what I just said, is it by choice or by chance, is already a personality trait in essence, right?
Yes, it's your signature.
Yeah,
I said that in writing. So it's your brand. It's your trait.
yeah, your
It's
brand, your
your
trait. Yeah. Mhm.
concept. It's your trading. I wanted to say it's your marketing. It's you. You are one kind of a of one. It's
Yeah,
just one there. I realized that if you put the personality into that one, not just put it there at the surface, but go deep in it, grab deep in yourself and show what you are on that floor and make the choices at that moment, and that makes it you. That's the concept of you. It's not
concept.
just a body concept.
Yeah,
It's
and
also a mental concept.
yeah, and as you can develop the skills in your movement, you can also develop, of course, your own personality in relationship
Yes,
to the movement. It's not a fixed thing, you know. So that's any personality is good, and but what you do with it is, of course, important. That was it for today, Ton. I think it's
yes,
a
yes,
topic
Sean.
we should attack one more time. I guess it's an interesting topic. It's so broad. It's you spent a whole chapter in your book about personality, and I think
Yes,
we did
yes,
maybe
yes,
two things of it, so which is great.
yes.
But
Even the personality, Sean, could change through that podcast.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure, yeah. Mm. All right. So with that, I say goodbye for today and see you in the next episode. As always, don't forget to listen to us on our YouTube channel, or if it comes to Spotify or Apple, or go to the website. We'll be back with a new episode very soon, every week, of course, as always. And Tom, it was a pleasure always to talk to you about these things. Let's see what we have next time um,
Yes,
on it.
absolutely, something beautiful.
Yeah,
So
do you have some?
and listen to our other podcast. You will discover a lot new things where you could grow with your personality. And that was the subject for
Yeah,
today.
definitely, definitely, definitely. Thank you for listening to this one and the next ones and the previous ones. Right. With that, I say goodbye to you, Tom. And do
Yes.
you have some final words for our listeners, or just a goodbye?
Yes, never stop growing, and I mean mentally. Make it difficult for yourself, because when you make it difficult for yourself, you will grow. If it's too easy, yeah, you grow too, but the development is in the difficulty and how you can manage that. And this is what I want to say. So, good luck.
I like it. I like
Yes,
it. I like
I
it.
like that too. So,
All right.
grow on that dance floor and go for it. You are
Go.
unique.
We are unique. Grow on the dance floor. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. I'll put the
Yeah,
music
thanks,
on,
Sean.
and I'll see you guys next time. I will very quickly go over what we talked about: personality, movement, understanding personality in the world of dance. And then, of course, as we said, it is on Spotify, as always, and on YouTube. and on our website. And I forgot to mention, of course, Apple is there as well. With that, we say bye bye.